What is going on, traders, and welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time here, welcome. I'm glad to have you. On this channel, I go over key levels and catalysts that I'm focusing on, along with a watch list of stock tickers that I may trade. Now, in today's video, I'm going over my watch list for the trading week of November 7th, 2022. Let's get to it. First up, the catalyst. Now, last week started off pretty slow, but it got interesting on Wednesday after the interest rate announcement. For those of you who were able to ride that sell-off down, nice job. Now this week, the biggest news is going to be the CPI data report on Wednesday. Economists are projecting a rise to 0.7%. That would be 0.3% higher than it was in September. Now, year over year, core inflation is expected to hit 6.7%, which is 0.1% higher than it was in September and a new 40-year high. Now, also happening next week will be the Consumer Sentiment Report for October, which will be released on Friday, which is projected to be around 60, which is a little better than it was in October at 59.9. Now, internationally, China's inflation rate will be released on Tuesday, and UK's Q3 GDP report will be announced on Friday. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at this week's earnings calendar. Around 80% of the S&P 500 companies have reported their earnings already, so not too many blockbuster names this week. But I do see quite a few small caps that were really popular in 2020, like Palantir, Plug Power, Affirm, Upstart, Lucid, and AvePoint. But sadly, most of them are not worth earnings plays due to their current prices. Now, the ones that I will be watching will be BIONTECH, ticker symbol BNTX, Disney, ticker symbol DIS, Roblox, ticker symbol RBLX, and Rivian, ticker symbol RIVN. All right, let's go ahead and get started with the watch list. All right, so before we get started, I want to do a quick recap of last week's watch list. We had some really nice plays off key levels in QUALCOMM, FORTINET, and ROKU, and I want to show you something really quick on ROKU. All right, so here we have ROKU on the 15-minute chart, ticker symbol ROKU. Now, when the video was made, ROKU was sitting around $54. And in order for me to consider it bullish, it had to hold $54. Now, at the time of their earnings, it did get a quick pop up to 62, but quickly sold off and went almost all the way down to $41. Now, in the video, I mentioned there was a lot of price action and a lot of buyers sitting around $42. And you can see once it got down to 41, it was quickly bought up and it based around $42. This was Wednesday. Now, on Thursday, it ran all the way up to almost $54 again, but got rejected a couple times. Now, right now, ROKU is sitting around $49.50. I would watch this $50.50 level for a possible break or rejection. If it breaks, look for it to run all the way up to $54 again to test this level. If it gets rejected, look for it to come down to around $47. All right. All right, starting off this week's watch list with the indexes. The first one up is going to be the QQQ, and here I have it pulled up on the 1-hour chart. Now, the Qs have been spending a lot of time between 260 and 284 over the last few weeks. Right now, it's sitting around 265. Now, in order for me to consider it bullish, it has to hold 263. If it can, the first level that I'm looking for it to test is around 270, 250. If it can get through that, I'm looking for it to run all the way up to around $284. Now, the bearish scenario, if the Qs cannot hold 263, the first level that I'm looking for it to test is around 259. If it can't hold that, all the way down to around $254, all right? All right, up next is going to be the SPY, and here I have it pulled up on the weekly chart. Now, I'm on the weekly chart to give you an overview of where we are, $376 versus where we were pre-pandemic. This is February of 2020, where we were sitting around $340. Now, there's a lot of talk and opinions on how long this market will continue to sell off and how long this recession will last, with some feeling that the recession will last at least until the end of 2023. So what I did was I went ahead and made this downward trend right here that represents 6 months of price action. This is January to June of 2022. I copied that line to represent July to December of 2022. once again, January to June of 2023, and the last time from July to December of 2023. Now, if this rate and percentage of price action with its pops and drops continues, we'd sit around $236 by the end of 2023. Now, that's kind of extreme, but if you look at the pandemic lows, it was sitting around 219. Now, going back a little bit, you can see the pivot point right here, or the pandemic, when the pandemic began, it was around $340. Now, if I go over to the option chain and I look at next summer's option chain for June of 2023, and I look at that $340 strike price, there's over 30,000 in open interest sitting here. So there's a lot of people that are playing this level. And if I go down to 330, you can see there's over 18,000. At 325, there's 14,000. All right, so there's a lot of people playing the market continuing to sell off at least until next summer. So keep that in mind. Now we'll go ahead and go over the levels for this upcoming week. All right, so I've zoomed down to the 1 hour chart on the SPY, and right now we're sitting at 376. In order for me to consider it bullish, it has to hold 375. If it does, the first level that I'm looking for it to test is around 382. If it can get through that, all the way up to around 391. And you can see over the past few weeks, it has rejected a few times this $391 level. So keep that in mind if it's running up. Now, the bear scenario, if it cannot hold $375, the first level that I'm looking for it to test is around 369. If it can't hold that, all the way down to around $360. Okay, so keep these levels on your watch list and let's see what happens. All right, so the first stock we're going to look at is BIONTECH, ticker symbol BNTX, the parent company of Pfizer. And here I have it pulled up on the 1 hour chart. Now, the company reports earnings before the market opens on Monday, so we're just going to go ahead and play the aftermath of what they report. Now, right now it's sitting at $154.50. In order for me to consider it bullish, it has to hold $152.50. If it can, the first level that I'm looking for it to test is around $156.50. If it can get through that, I'm looking for it to run up to around $165. Now, it had some prior resistance recently where it was rejected, so it may have a hard time getting through 165. But if it can, the next level that I'm looking for it to test is around 183, which begins a gap that has not been completely filled that runs up to around $196. So that's the bullish scenario. Now, the bearish scenario, if it cannot hold 152.50, the first level that I'm looking for it to test is around 144.25. If it can't hold that, down to around $133. If it can't hold that, down to around $126. And if it can't hold that, all the way down to around $118. So keep these levels on your watch list and let's see what happens. All right, up next is Disney, ticker symbol DIS, and here I have it pulled up on the 1 hour chart. Now, the company reports earnings after the market closes on Tuesday, and here are the levels that I'm going to be watching. Right now it's sitting around $99.50. In order for me to consider it bullish, it has to hold $99. If it can, the first level that I'm looking for it to test is around $103.50. If it can get through that, up to around $108.50. You can see there was some prior resistance recently and support at this level, so it could have a hard time getting through that. But if it does, I'm looking for it to run up to around $111.25. Now, that's the bullish scenario. Now, the bearish scenario, if Disney cannot hold $99, I'm looking for it to test around $95. If it can't hold that, down to around $90. Okay, so keep these levels on your watch list and let's see what happens. All right, up next is NVIDIA, ticker symbol NVDA, and here I have it pulled up on the 1 hour chart. Now, the company's been on a nice run since the beginning of October, going from around $108 to over $140. Now, we've been running along this trend line right here, and we're kind of far away from it, and we're coming up on some resistance around $144. So don't be surprised if we get a pullback to test this trend line. Now right now the stock is sitting around $141.50. In order for me to consider it bullish, it has to hold 140.50, and if it can hold that, the first level that I'm looking for it to test is around 144. If it can get through that, the next level is going to be around 151. All right, now the bearish scenario, if it cannot hold $140.50, the first level that I'm looking for it to test is around 135. If it can't hold that, down to around 133. And if it can't hold that, all the way down to around $130, okay? So keep these levels on your watch list and let's see what happens. All right, and the last one we're gonna look at is Tesla, ticker symbol TSLA. And here I have it pulled up on the 1 hour chart. Now right now the stock is sitting around 207.50, and in order for me to consider it bullish, it has to hold 206.50. And if it can, the first level that I'm looking for it to test is around 212. If it can get through that, up to 215. And if it can get through 215, all the way up to around $222. Now that's the bullish scenario. Now the bearish. If Tesla cannot hold 206.50, the first level that I'm looking for it to test is 203.50. And if it can't hold that, all the way down to around $200, which is the psychological level that should be a strong support. And one last thing that happened on Friday, after Tesla sold off quite a bit, it held 203.50 very well. And you can see it held that level quite a few times recently. All right, so keep these levels on your watch list and let's see what happens. And that is the end of the video. If you found value, please smash that like button and consider subscribing. Here's wishing you a prosperous week of trading, and until next week, talk to you later.